Now I just chill at home.
Yeah. Chilling at home has, like, it's always been my thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
where I started with, like, webcamming and stuff like that. And it's just always been in my house. And now everybody else is, like, the same way. Most of the time, even now my friends, it's not like, oh, do you want to go out somewhere? It's like, whose house do you want to go to? And we'll order food from a place that we want
Yeah,
to eat
that's
from
funny.
instead of having to, like...
Do you ever not go to a person's house because they're so far away compared to like, you're like, well, we could just go to my house where we can
No,
stay,
it's
or do you
just...
not
I...
like, would you
Most...
rather go to someone's house or stay at
I
your house?
personally would rather stay home, but I'm also not averse to going to someone's house, especially if I know them. But
Right.
I'm also one of those panic people that I'm kind of like when I don't know them and I'm like, oh, I'm going to their house.
Well, staying home and having people over are different
Yeah,
to
because
me.
you're already in your own zone. So you're already where you feel comfortable. That's
Right.
why I like to have the podcast here because it's hard for me to talk to people, especially in a social setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like even at the comedy club, like oh, it was so much fun. And I've told you guys this already, but oh, highly recommend. Check out Wise Guys in Las Vegas. Check out Josh. It was really fun. It was
It
my
was a
first
fun
comedy
show.
show. So, and it was really fun. But even in that situation, like once I'm there and it's like, especially because I went with my girlfriends or whatever, but any of those big social situations, I just like, I put on my face, I put on my facade, I'm like, let's do this. It's really hard. And you wouldn't
See,
know,
those
but there's
ones
a big
are.
battle going around inside my head.
I'm like very different before the show and then after the show, I would say. Like before the show, it'd be like, if you were trying to talk to me, I'd be like, I was in war or something. I'd be like, huh? Like,
Yeah, you're just in the zone,
I
you're
wouldn't
zoning
hear
out.
anything. Yeah. And then afterwards, I feel like, I'm still going. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you're riding off of all that energy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I feel the same way. It's like I go through like these such long periods of like not being out in those high rush situations, but even something like going to a photo shoot or like working with a new team or photographer, whatever, first like the first time, it's always very exciting, but it's also nerve wracking as fuck. But then once you're in it and you're riding that high of like the adrenaline rush, then afterwards I'm just like, whoa, I
Yeah.
can do this forever. And then I book like 6 more shoots, and then by the end of them I want to like curl up in a ball and kill myself.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
it's
weird.
like overload.
It's like there's a definite like high that you're riding where I can just talk to anybody, and like even just like today, like waking up and like having to, I did like a podcast before this one, and like getting myself jogging along talking, I'm like, God, your brain's not connecting. But like after doing a show, it's like I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders. I could like
Yeah,
hold
especially if
court.
you have like, I feel like if you probably have a good show, for instance, I kind of feel the
Yes.
same way even if I do like a live
Oh my
stream
God, if it was a
or
bad show, I wouldn't even like talk to anybody.
yeah, exactly. Then
I'd
you're
like
just
go
like,
home.
oh, everything's awful. They didn't appreciate whatever creative thing I was putting out.
But the
I
crash
get those
is
too.
even the crash, even after a good show, it's just like after that, like the crash is so hard.
Yeah, it's like if you take Molly or something, it's like
Yeah.
you're just on that super rush, and the next day you're just like, oh, I'm depleted of all of my serotonin. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
like
gone.
last night I had an awesome show, hung out for a little while, and then like just like went to bed. And then today I'm just like, am I dumb? Like, why is my brain so dumb right now? It's
I
just
get that all the time, and then I get so frustrated, especially like when it's been a lot of stuff at once, which has been like this entire year to date.
yeah,
And I'm not used to being that busy. And then it's like even so before the pandemic, it was like it was primarily camming, and then after that it was primarily camming, and then like 4 shoots a month. That was it.
yeah.
That was what I did. And then the pandemic hit, and I did
Are you going
even
overdrive?
less.
Oh, less,
I
less,
did
less.
even less. It was all working from my home. It was all making my own content. It was all this. And now that it's out of the pandemic, I'm like, oh my God, I have so much work to do, and there's so many people to meet, and there's so many things to do. And then it's like a super overload.
Yeah.
So I go
No,
through
I've
these periods
experienced
of
that
just
too.
like, am I actually R-worded? Am I
Yeah.
actually like, what is happening? And then it's like, if you get a couple days off, and then I feel like completely recharged again. But man,
Exactly.
but it's
Sometimes
like,
the
when do you take
days
the
off
time?
make me feel worse. Like I'll get off the road and I'm like, okay, I have like 3 days to chill. And then by like the third day, I'm like, why do I feel worse than I did when I got here? It's just because it's like settling in finally.
Yeah, because then you're settling back to like the norm, but
Yeah.
like, and you're like coming off of that high, so then you're trying to bring yourself back up after the come down, and by that point, your brain is like, oh, I want that again. It's like drugs.
Yeah.
Entertaining is like drugs.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my God.
Well, yeah.
Entertainment is drugs.